Welcome to Beyond Investments with your host, Seth Leishman of Ostro Financial Consultants. Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Ostro Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial. Today's guest, Rick Fisher, is a financial advisor with Ostro Financial Consultants, National Planning member SIPC. And now, Beyond Investments, here's your host, Seth Leishman.
Good morning and welcome to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO, AM 830. Rick Fisher and Seth Leishman here from Ostro Financial.
Morning, folks.
Another beautiful Nevada County week.
Stunningly beautiful day.
Some rain last weekend.
Yes, which is always welcomed.
So welcome.
I wasn't even expecting it. I don't always look at my weather app, and
Yes.
I woke up and was, wait, oh, it's raining. Oh, okay, well.
Some summer rains, the kind of climate change I can be on board with.
There you go.
Anyways, it's everybody's back, Labor Day weekend. So we got a little bit of a short week this week. I'm sure most people are feeling pretty happy about that.
Yeah, how was the first week of school for the kids?
Wonderful. They dove right in. Reluctantly, but I think that they are pleased with. We've got wonderful teachers, great programs. They're diving right in. My oldest is diving right into cheer, of course. And I think they had their first football game was the first week of school, which is pretty amazing to me.
Is the team going to be good this year?
Well, so far they are 2-1, I think.
Okay, that's a winning record.
Yeah. So
I just don't know what the expectations are. I used to, at different times, have been really high because we've had this stretches of really, really good teams, and then go stretches not so good teams. So I just don't know where since my kids didn't play football and I have no kids at NU, I don't keep up on that.
I'm pretty sure that it's not we don't expect huge things.
Okay, it's not an experienced team.
No, we've got I think the quarterback's a junior.
Okay,
we've got some youth, I would say. But they're quick, and they showed they lost the first game of the season, but they've now won and looking pretty good actually.
Okay, they looked momentum.
They looked good last week.
Speaking of football,
yes,
it looks like the NFL is going to be starting tomorrow.
Yes,
that caught up with Janet because could we do a little guessing? I guess what do you call it?
A pool. Football pool.
But there's no points. There's no spread.
No money.
You're just picking the winners and losers.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Tullen is like the four-time champion, OFC champion.
I know. And he's got the trophy to prove it.
Yeah, and Jamie is actually, who has declined to play in the past, has decided to play.
Yes.
And so hopefully maybe she can help us knock Tullen down a little bit.
I hope so.
She says, I'll play. Do I have to watch any of the games? I go, I don't think any of us watch the game, so that's not a prerequisite.
Definitely not a prerequisite.
And you don't have to do points or anything. You just pick them.
Yep. It's purely win-loss. It's just who's going to win each game, each week. Yeah.
So the rookie might do well. You never know. Beginner's luck.
That beginner luck thing, I think it's real.
So are you going to – is there a team that you do follow?
I grew up a 49ers fan.
Okay.
So and it's fun to watch this Mr. Irrelevant or whatever they call him being the last pick in the draft, and he ended up.
See, I don't pay attention to football, so I have no idea.
49ers quarterback Brock Purdy was the last picked in the draft.
Oh, he's got something to prove then. A little chip on the shoulder.
And last year was his rookie year. And 49ers lost their two quarterbacks. You had Jimmy Garoppolo go down, then you had Trey Lance go down.
Okay.
And so Brock Purdy finishes the season. I think he finished like 7-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So can he continue the momentum, or will he come back to earth and play like the third string quarterback he technically is?
So Jimmy got traded to the Raiders.
Okay, so now he's second string.
Trey Lance got pushed out to the Cowboys.
He's the starting quarterback, I guess.
He's the starting quarterback. That is who... absolutely. Through training camp, through everything, the Niners are going all in on Brock Purdy.
Okay.
I think he's like the 4th lowest paid person on the team.
Well, it looks like in the next few weeks it's going to be a lot of football/baseball trivia because baseball season is obviously we're towards the end of the regular season.
Right, we're getting towards the end.
30 games left.
About that. Yep.
25, but then we
30.
got the whole other season called the postseason.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And
we'll see how that goes.
Exactly. We'll see how it goes. It should be very interesting.
Yes.
Everyone says Atlanta's the team to stop in the National League.
I wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it.
And Houston was looking really good. And so Texas is looking good.
Texas looks great. They traded really well for Scherzer and stuff like that. They're looking pretty good.
We shall see.
I like your bet that next year, we'll knock on wood here, but that
Clayton goes to Texas.
Clayton goes to Texas.
I have a feeling that's what. And the last he
struggled.
If
Kershaw goes.
He struggled again last night.
Okay.
Couldn't get through the 5th. Gave up 2 homers.
Oh, real struggle. Yeah, not just a couple hits.
He
but
did
homers.
not have the command. At last 2 starts, very similar. No command, or very little command.
Yeah.
So he walked 5 batters yesterday, and I think he's only done that maybe once in his career.
Yeah.
But I guess through his first 18 starts, he walked 14 batters. And in the last 2 starts, he's walked 8.
Ooh. Yes.
So hopefully nothing's wrong.
No,
hopefully this is just
absolutely
getting the rust off.
But yeah, a little bit of some wiggles there.
We shall see. But and then you've heard Julio Urias, who's a young star.
Yes.
Domestic violence, and it's his second time. So everyone says he's done with the Dodgers. He's probably done from baseball. Destroyed a career.
Yep.
Which is sad. Hopefully he can get the help he needs.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's another big hole to fill.
That'll be a hole for the Dodgers to fill for the postseason in particular.
So the Dodgers have bad luck with pitchers that have domestic violence issues.
Yeah.
I wonder if Urias is going to go to Japan just like
Trevor Bauer
went to Japan.
Yeah.
Anyways, we should move on to the inflation, which I have to apologize. I have to apologize. We missed August.
Yes. So let's dive in and look at our Nevada County inflation indicator.
Exactly. So actually from a cost standpoint, things are down a little bit from last month. So I'm going to look at what we've gone over the year. So the high for the year was at the beginning of the year. The basket of goods cost $245.32 with tax.
Okay.
And I put tax on everything.
Yes.
Okay. This month it was $237.15. Nope, excuse me, that was last month. That was July. $234.11. So this is kind of what I've been seeing. So this time, most things stayed the same. There wasn't a lot of change. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 went down in price, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 went up in price. But again, what I've been seeing is that whole thing playing with keeping the price the same, but reducing the size.
Yes.
So again, that national brand, the one that drives me nuts, the national brand of toothpaste.
Yeah.
Used to be a 4.8 ounce tube.
Yep.
Now it's 4.3 at the same price.
It's like nearly 10% drop.
Yeah. And actually there was quite a few things either went up a lot or went down a lot.
Okay.
So as I say, most things stayed the same. So depending what items you bought, one thing is that the spaghetti that I usually get, it was like $2. It's now up to $4.
Oh, wow. Okay. Big jump in that.
Big jump. So we've seen some big jumps. Another big jump we saw was in gasoline. So gasoline's been around $4.50, $4.60, $4.80.
Yep.
$5.25.
Yes.
And we've seen that recently.
We have seen that recently.
Actually, I was really bad. I was heading down to Sacramento to pick up the missus.
Yep.
And I needed some coffee. And so I decided to stop at the Chevron down there. And there's a Starbucks. Starbucks was closed.
Yeah.
Used the mini mark. I didn't even look at the price. I filled up. On the way up, my wife noticed, oh, Chevron, $6.20.
Oh,
so I guess I paid $6 and didn't even realize it.
Wow.
Because I just didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
When I need gas, I gas.
You assume they're going to be competitive, but sometimes there isn't.
Well, no, I guess I knew better. It's just I realized that I should have filled up before I left, but I need coffee. I need gas. I'm just going to get the gas.
Get both. Yeah, get both.
Because I think it's like $5.20 at the Speedway that I usually go to. So I can save $1 a gallon. I don't think. Oh, I had the truck. Did I have the truck? Oh, I did have the truck.
Oh, it could have been pricey.
Yeah, that's why it was $113.
Yes.
Shame on me. I should know better.
Yes, definitely.
But I'm one of those guys. I pay for convenience.
Right.
I do try to budget when I can, and if I see a deal,
you really should. Yeah, it's good to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Absolutely. So that's it for the inflation. So
yes, very good. All righty.
Move into trivia. Or you want to take a break?
Let's move into trivia, and then we're going to talk about what our topic is for today.
Okay. So this is for September 6th. Obviously, we're at the 8th or the 9th when this gets listened to, but starting with financial trivia because this is a financial show. We've got, in 2001, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that it will no longer seek to break up Microsoft Corp. That's been 22 years.
Wow.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time.
Instead, asking a federal judge to impose limitations on the company's business practices. Among the likely measures, making Microsoft build more flexibility into its software so that PC makers can change how it is installed, limiting Microsoft's ability to quote-unquote bundle other software into the Windows program, and banning Microsoft from punishing computer makers that use software from other companies. Yeah, it doesn't seem very far.
Right.
Going back a little bit longer, 1993, a consultant named Peter DeJager publishes Doomsday 2000, the first major article to warn about what becomes known as Y2K problem.
Yeah.
In the years to come, the world spends hundreds of billions of dollars to reprogram computers so that they can accept dates beyond 1999. And on January 1st, 2000, when the worldwide meltdown is widely forecast by doomsayers like DeJager, absolutely nothing happens.
Yep.
I remember we gave seminars on preparing for Y2K.
Wow.
At the Holbrook.
Yes.
And
it was a non-event.
It was a non-event. At the end of the day, it's like, well, it sounds like it's credible, and I guess you have to do it.
Right.
But yeah, it was a big nothing burger.
It turned out to be a big nothing burger. Yep, absolutely. I agree.
And we found out early because you were on New Year's Eve. You were looking what's happening in the first time zone.
That's right.
Because you think, okay, well, hopefully America will be okay, but maybe other countries didn't take it seriously enough, and I don't think it was anything.
No, I don't think it was anything.
But I guess the classic, better safe than sorry.
Sure.
Hindsight's always 20/20. We thought it was real. It was logical.
Yeah, it felt real.
What is it? What is a computer going to do if it can't read the date?
That was my senior year of high school, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, I was very scared because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh my goodness, the world's going to end.
You could play your Nintendo games.
I know, exactly. Like everything's gonna go under.
And going back a little bit further, 1968, a small technical company called Bolt, Beranek, and Newman submits a proposal for a contract to design interface message processors for the ARPA computer network so that computers at 4 different research outposts funded by the Department of Defense can communicate with each other. It becomes later known as ARPANET, the ancestor of the Internet, even though the key designers Severo Orenstein exclaims, quote, "I have no idea why anybody would want such a thing."
Wow.
I don't want there's sometimes I don't want the internet, but more times I do.
I would say yes.
Yes, it's a great.
More than not.
Yes. Yeah, because I know when it goes down, it's not a happy household.
No, it's a giant pain in the neck. Yes.
Because I don't have an encyclopedia, so I can't look up anything. If you take away my Google,
right,
I'm lost.
Now I'm above a creek.
I don't know how many times my wife will ask, information. Why is this? I go, Eva, Google it.
Google it.
Just Google it. It may not give you the right answer, but at least we get something.
But you get a little something. Exactly.
And then you have to discern, is this legit or not?
Is that really real? Yeah.
Yes. Being skeptical using the internet is a good thing.
We need to make sure we're teaching everybody everywhere.
Yes.
Be skeptical of the internet.
It would be nice if there could be a truth law that you have to tell the truth when posting things online.
That would be... Who's gonna nanny that though?
Well, I just said it'd be nice. I didn't say it was practical.
That's true.
Anyways,
all right. What do you got?
Moving on to 1916, we got a lot of financial trivia.
Okay.
At 79 Jefferson Street in Memphis, Tennessee, Clarence Saunders opens up what is believed to be the nation's first self-serve supermarket. Instead of the prevailing notion of making customers submit their orders to clerks who would fetch the items from the store shelves, Saunders allows his customers to serve themselves. Experts ridicule the idea, but customers appear to today like it. Today, Saunders Piggly Wiggly Corp. Is one of the biggest grocery chains in the country.
Very nice.
I've heard of Piggly Wiggly, but I've never been to one.
Never been to one.
So I think mostly in the South.
I think so.
Hence why it started in Tennessee.
Yes.
1862. Congress establishes the first U.S. pension allowance, paying up to $8 a month to injured or disabled Union soldiers or their heirs.
Oh, wow.
$8 a month, that probably wasn't too bad in post-Civil War.
Right?
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Moving on to, do we have sports trivia? I know we do. Oh, actually, we have more financial trivia.
Oh, good.
1784, so we're going way back now.
Way
The
back.
earliest known advertisement by an American broker, as Joshua Eaton of Boston announces in the Massachusetts Sentinel, quote, public securities of every denomination negotiated. Business on commission transacted with attention and punctuality, and every favor gratefully acknowledged.
Yes.
So moving on to sports trivia. And again, we're going to get the last of the baseball for the last weeks. I find some tennis stuff, but it's nothing I can't really, it's not like hit the record this, record that.
Yeah, it's all good.
1954 Yankees, use a record 10 pinch hitters.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, usually, 2 is the most I usually see, maybe 3, but 10. 1977, the Angels acquired Dave Kingman from the Padres for cash. 9 days later, the Yankees buy Kingman, who started with the Mets, who plays in all 4 divisions in 1977.
Oh, wow.
1995, Cal Ripken Jr. breaks Lou Gehrig's record, plays in 2,131 straight games. And he still owns the record today. I thought Lou Gehrig's record was going to stand forever.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of games.
A lot of games.
It was like 11 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And in 1996, Baltimore Orioles' Eddie Murray hits his 500th career home run. And when he retired, he was one of 3 people to be a member of the 3,500 Club, 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Can you name the other 2 at the time? There's 2 more now.
Willie Mays.
Yes.
Babe Ruth.
Nope.
Don't know that. I have no idea.
Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron. I should have known that one.
If Babe Ruth didn't walk so much, if Babe
Right.
Ruth didn't waste 4 years pitching,
Yep.
he probably would have.
Probably would have. Yeah.
And in music trivia, I think I just have, I got quite a bit. 1975, Glenn Campbell started a 2-week run at number 1 on his U.S. single charts with Rhinestone Cowboy, his first number 1 hit after 13 top 40 hits. The record gained 3 Grammy nominations and was the Country Music Association Song of the Year in 1976. I know I've said this before, but this has personal meaning to it. I like the song, but it also reminds me of my dad because it was one of the first AM radio songs that I would play that he actually really liked.
Interesting.
You always wanted your parents' approval.
You always, yeah,
And
exactly.
my parents were classical music people. They weren't popular music people. Well, they like some pop, but they weren't rock people, that's for sure.
Right.
Anyways, moving on. So 1970, Jimi Hendrix made his final live appearance as he appeared on the Isle of Furman in Germany. The guitarist died 12 days later on September 18th.
Oh, wow.
1968, working at Abbey Road Studios in London on George Harrison's song While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Eric Clapton added the guitar solo and became the first famous outside musician to play on a Beatles record, and George recorded the lead vocal. And that's one of my favorite Beatles songs, by the way.
Yeah.
1943, happy 80th birthday to Roger Waters of Pink Floyd.
Oh, nice.
He's 80 years old today. Singer, songwriter, bassist, and co-founder of Pink Floyd. Following the departure of the bandmate Syd Barrett in 1968, over time, Waters became the band's principal lyricist. Waters left Pink Floyd in 1985, had a successful career, and anyways.
Yes.
So that is it for trivia today.
All righty. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the Federal Reserve. Kind of a...
So get your pillows out, folks. If this doesn't put you to sleep, nothing will.
I think you're right. But it is an interesting concept.
It is. Yes, it is. And interest rates are on the mind. That's why the market went down, is interest rate fears. And there's talk about, they were going to pause, and now they shouldn't pause, because if they pause, it's going to make it worse.
What sign are they saying, and what are they?
So we'll talk about that after the break.
We're going to talk about that after the break. You're listening to Beyond Investments here on News Talk AM 830. Welcome back to Beyond Investments here on News Talk KNCO AM 830. Federal Reserve.
The current iteration of a so-called central bank.
Correct. Yes.
It's not the first time we've tried this.
No, at all. Central bank and having, essentially having a central bank has been a time-old entity. But
The first one was in 1791. That lasted 20 years.
Yes, for the U.S. Yes,
and again, they all work differently, but they're a financial function to provide liquidity to the country.
Correct.
And loans and stuff.
That's right. So when we think about the Federal Reserve, what else?
Well, okay, so there's actually 12 Federal Reserve banks across the country, and so the one that we use here is San Francisco's.
Yep.
And there's one in Dallas, Kansas City, Minneapolis, St. Louis, Chicago, Atlanta, Richmond, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Philadelphia. What do you think the last two are? They're kind of obvious.
New York.
Yes.
Washington, D.C.
No.
Oh.
Boston.
And Boston, of course. I should have thought of Boston, but I thought maybe there'd be one in Washington. Okay.
Yeah, so the one we're in, which I guess is the 12th district, is Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and California, and Alaska.
Wow.
And looks like Hawaii.
Probably
too.
Hawaii too, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Technically,
the 11th is only 3 states. Part of Louisiana, part of New Mexico, and Texas.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much just Texas, and they had to throw in some other things.
And no kidding.
So really what it is a regional bank system. Central banking for the United States are 12 in total, 1 for each district. Started in 1913. At the same time, they started the federal income tax. Whether the two were together, I don't know if they were
together.
Separate.
Yeah, makes sense.
But the current Federal Reserve kind of came out after the 1907 panic.
Yes.
And that is the one where J.P. Morgan himself had to back the U.S. government to make them solvent.
That's correct.
And if we're talking about a one percenter.
A 1%er. And the craziness that an individual had to backstop the U.S. federal government.
And he wasn't even the wealthiest man in the country, not even close.
No. Yeah. No, at that point, I'm sure it was...
he was very wealthy. I mean,
yeah, of course.
And he was a banker, obviously. J.P. Morgan, we still have them today.
Probably would have been Rockefeller. One of the other ones would have been even more wealthy.
Yeah, so a financial crash known as the panic from 1907 threatened several New York banks with failure.
Yes.
And now can avoided through loans arranged by banker J.P. Morgan.
That's right.
And again, it's all about confidence. If he's willing to back up his money, then we're going to stay in it.
That's right.
Because the only reason the dollar is worth anything is because we believe it's worth something.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, when we talk about the Federal Reserve, they're the ones who set interest rates for their best customers to borrow from.
Yes, exactly.
So you and I don't borrow money from the federal bank.
We do not borrow money from the federal bank, but that rate trickles into almost all other rates.
Right.
So as the Federal Reserve raises what they call the Fed funds rate, which is what the interest rate that they control, it does trickle into car loans. Mm-hmm. It trickles into home loans. So it does, obviously they definitely have an impact. It's one of the few kind of tools, we'll say, in their toolbox is to mess with interest rates. Now, in the very beginning, 1907, through
1913,
coming out of that, coming out of that with the institution of the Federal Reserve, very much so driven around interest rate policy, right?
Well, it's got what they call a dual mandate.
Yes, and now, I don't know that it really started with the dual mandate.
No, I don't think so.
And yet it's kind of morphed into that. So now the Federal Reserve, as we see it today, has this goal, what they call the dual mandate, which is goals. Their goals are to keep in touch with inflation.
Right, keep it in check.
Right, keep it in check.
2% is the optimum, supposedly.
And unemployment.
It's too hard.
Those are very, very difficult and very different things.
Because if you have a lot of unemployment,
how are you going to drive interest rate policy and affect inflation when you've got high unemployment with people spending less money,
Right.
for example, or borrowing less money, and how that will actually truly impact unemployment, or vice versa. If you're effecting a certain policy, how are you affecting both? And, we've talked about this. Personally, I think a dual mandate is somewhat unrealistic.
It's controversial. There's a lot of people think that you're asking too much of the Fed.
Yes.
Let them set interest rates. Some people don't even think we need a Federal Reserve. I don't think I'm there.
Right. Yes.
A central bank. Again, I don't want one bank controlling everything. So
Correct.
this whole idea when they say central bank, meaning like one bank, that all the regionals go away, the big.
Yes.
You want healthy competition, because interest rates at the company level. Right now, we see interest rates on some savings accounts are offering 5%. Others are still opening 50 basis points.
That's right.
It's really up to them. I mean, obviously, the rate that they have to, if they need to borrow money in order to reborrow it,
That's right.
they have to go to the Fed.
Yep.
And that's going to cost them 4 or 5%.
Yeah. Wow.
And then if they want to on a car loan, charge 7% and get it, or a mortgage,
There
that's
you go.
fine.
And then that's fine. Absolutely. So allowing the interesting thing is that what we've seen over the last, almost 20 years, 15 to 18 years, is the size of the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve has ballooned to astronomical levels. And so that is one of the concerns that, that listeners out there should know.
And that liquidity is one of the key things that drives inflation.
It's
when
a
you're too
huge
liquid,
driver
there's
of it.
too much easy money.
Exactly.
Now borrowing rates and standards are getting tighter.
Correct.
Which should slow the economy.
Hope it slows things down.
But
You don't want
might
to slow
help-
down the economy too slow.
Right. But it's also going to help. It's going to hurt small business more than it's going to hurt. Apple doesn't need to borrow any money. It's got plenty, and a lot of the big companies have plenty of money on the books that they can function without borrowing money.
That's right.
But small business can't.
And that affects then unemployment.
Right, because now it's if I can't borrow the money, I need to expand my business.
I'm not hiring.
I'm not hiring.
And I might even lay people off.
Exactly.
And 70% of our country is employed by small business.
Right.
So,
but the policies out of Washington don't seem to honor that, or they talk about it, but it doesn't seem they don't.
It doesn't seem they're putting the money where their mouth is in many ways. That being said, I think the Federal Reserve Chairman has best intentions. I don't think that there's any kind of agenda that he has, but the Federal Reserve only controls so much.
Right, and if you listen to the talking heads, regardless of there's only certain ones I watch, but none of them seem to like Bernanke.
Old Bernanke, the old one? Yeah.
Oh, not Bernanke.
No, you don't mean Bernanke, you mean Powell.
Are not a fan of Powell's,
yes.
regardless of what he does.
Correct.
I mean, and then there's others say don't fight the Fed.
Right.
If interest rates are going to go up, just adjust to rising interest rates.
Adjust rising interest rates. Don't fight them. Yeah.
It's for retirees who are on fixed income.
Makes a lot of sense.
They're feeling relieved because, yes and no.
Some level of relief.
They're getting some level because they're getting more income. Unfortunately,
That's right.
inflation has eaten most of that away.
Yes, that is the problem. That is the hard part.
So if you got inflation at, let's say it's come down to 6%.
Right.
But
you're earning 5.
But you're earning 5, you're still going backwards. You've
negative.
closed the gap, but you want those flipped.
That's right.
You'd like to be earning 5 and inflation be at 4 or 2.
Correct. Yes.
And we're not there yet.
No. Hopefully we do.
But I don't know if they're going to pause. Everyone was hoping them to pause. Now some are saying they better raise now and pause later, so they can never win. So we will find out.
It's going to be an interesting one. Well, it's going to be an interesting ride throughout the rest of this year and into next year when it comes to Federal Reserve. Rick, appreciate you today. And for all you listeners out there, if you'd like to learn more and if you'd like to stream or download any previous show, you can go to our website at austrofinancial.com. Click on the news link. And as always, if you'd like to learn more, give us a call at 273-4425. Come experience the difference when you think beyond investments.
Bye, folks.
Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Neither LPL Financial nor the hosts of this show or accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Ostro Financial Consultants, a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.